Have you ever felt like you had to be the adult in the room, even when you were still just a kid? Today, we're going to dive into the psychology of what it means to grow up just a little too fast, and the echoes it can leave behind, long into adulthood.
You know, this quote just hits it right on the head. It's not usually some big dramatic event that snatches childhood away. It's more like a slow, quiet fade, something that happens so gradually that almost no one notices, not even the child themselves.
And that's really the moment, isn't it? There's no big meeting, no one assigns him the role. They just look around, see a gap, and step into it. They pick up the weight because it feels like someone has to, and they decide, okay, I guess it's me.
So this whole process of quietly outgrowing childhood, turns out it actually has a name in psychology. And just understanding what that is can be a really powerful first step.
And here it is, parentification. It's when a kid ends up in a position where they have to manage really big adult emotions, either their own or someone else's, way before they have the tools for it. And when that happens, their brain has to adapt, and it has to do it fast.
And here's how that adaptation actually works. The brain learns to just push its own needs way down the priority list. It gets incredibly good at solving problems and becomes a master of looking calm on the surface. But underneath it all, it learns a really tough lesson. My feelings, they always come last.
All of this adaptation, it forges a very particular kind of strength. Not the kind you choose to build in a gym, but the kind that becomes absolutely essential just to get by.
Think about it. If asking for help or comfort doesn't really get you anywhere, you learn pretty quick to just stop asking. You develop this survival independence. You just figure it out. You handle it, all of it, alone.
This is what's so fascinating, because it creates what you could call a split maturity. On the outside, everyone sees this person who is so capable, so composed, wise beyond their years. But on the inside, that's a whole different story. A real struggle to trust people, a deep feeling of being emotionally unfulfilled, and so often, this confusing sense of guilt.
So what happens when that kid grows up? Well, those childhood adaptations don't just vanish. They leave behind these internal echoes. And honestly, those can be the hardest things to deal with as an adult.
And this is a big one, a question that hits home for so many people who grew up this way. The very idea of just stopping, of doing nothing, of actually resting? Why can that feel so terrifying?
Well, the answer is all about how the nervous system got trained. If quiet moments in your childhood were often the calm before the storm, your body learned that calm is a warning sign. It learned that your value came from being useful, from being needed. So when you're not doing anything, it feels wrong, even unsafe. Your nervous system basically stays stuck on high alert 24/7.
And this feeling goes way beyond just resting. It bleeds into how you receive any kind of support. If you spent your childhood being the caretaker, then the idea of someone taking care of you can feel deeply uncomfortable. It triggers this little voice inside that says, if I need help, I'm just being a burden. This creates such a strange paradox. People who grew up this way often have an almost superhuman level of emotional awareness. They can walk into a room and instantly read the vibe, but they also learn the hard way that caring too much without protecting yourself can be painful. So they build a wall around that incredible empathy. They can feel everything, but they're incredibly careful about who they let in. Okay, so where does that leave us? Is it possible to heal from this? Absolutely. This next part is all about reframing the experience, not as something that's broken, but as something that adapted, and learning that it's okay to finally put that weight down.
Let's just sit with this for a second, because it is so incredibly important. All these traits we've talked about, they are adaptations. They are not flaws. They are not proof that something is wrong with you.
I mean, what a powerful way to look at it. This changes the whole story. It's not about a personal failure. It's about incredible, unbelievable resilience. Your nervous system did exactly what it had to do to survive the pressure. It adapted. That's a sign of strength.
And this is what the path forward looks like. Healing isn't about getting rid of the responsibility or the strength you learned. It's about adding the things you never got a chance to learn. You learned responsibility before you learned safety. So now you get to learn that it's okay to feel safe. You learned strength before you learned softness. So now you get to learn that it's okay to be soft. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. If any of this sounds familiar, if you grew up caring more than any child ever should, just take a quiet moment and ask yourself, are you still carrying that weight long after you've earned the right to put it down?